Hola clase, ¿cómo están todos? How are you all doing? So after reviewing your videos that you submitted regarding something that makes you cry in Spanish class without telling me that you cry in Spanish class, and a common thing that came up was that a lot of you are still struggling with the use of said versus estad and when to use which. So I understand that this is confusing, so hopefully what we're doing today will help you clear some things up. So just as a reminder, before you do this quiz, you need to make sure that you watch the 2 previous videos. Those are going over basically what we went over in class, maybe adding a couple things that may help you understand this concept a little better. And hopefully by the end of this quiz, you are more comfortable. Okay, so there are actually 50 task cards, not 48, but we are going to move on. All right, now one thing that I do want to mention before we get started is I'm going to be very specific about how you should type your answers in Schoology. If you do not follow along or if you don't pay attention, then you may get the answer incorrect just because you didn't follow directions. And so this is your warning right now to pay attention and follow directions. Okay, so for number 1, you're going to type it in blank, number 1, in your Schoology quiz. Ser and estar mean the same thing in English to blank. So, ser and estar mean to something, right, in English. That something is one word, so your answer for number 1 should only be one word. To blank. Okay. Next, the next 2 are going to be a little interesting on how you're going to type them, so make sure that you're paying attention. You are going to conjugate the verb ser in its present tense form. You're not going to write the subject pronoun. You are going to conjugate the verb ser. So you should have a total of 6 answers in your blank number 2. And here's how I want you to type it. You're going to type the conjugated form of ser for this form, okay, which is the yo form. And then you're going to type a comma and go to the to form, comma, go to the usted, él or ella form, comma, and then you're going to go back up here, okay? You're going to type the next one, which is the nosotros form, comma, the vosotros form, comma, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, period. So here's how it should look on when you type it on Schoology. Your first answer, comma, your second answer, comma, your third answer, comma, your fourth answer, comma, your fifth answer, comma, and your final answer, period. If you don't put that period at the end, it's going to count it wrong. If you don't put the commas, it's going to count it wrong. Okay? So make sure that that is how you're typing it. Don't put any blanks or any spaces. Don't hit the space bar. Just put a comma in between your answers. Okay, so you are going to do the same thing for number 3. On your blank number 3 on Schoology, you're going to conjugate estar in all its present tense forms. So you should have 6 answers, just like the previous one. The yo form, comma, the to form, comma, el, ella, or usted form, comma. Then we're going to move back to the top. The nosotros form, comma. Vosotros form, comma. And finally, the ellos, ellas, or ustedes form, period. Okay? So you're going to do both of these in the same way. Make sure that you include the correct spelling and accent marks if needed. Okay. Next, let's go to number 4. All right. So for these few that we're going to go over, you're going to type both of your answers with a comma in between. So for number 4, it says, ser or estar. For each example, write ser or estar depending on which one you would use. So on your blank in your Schoology quiz, here's your box where you're going to type in your answer. Okay? We have A, origin, and B, geographical or physical location. If you think that A has to do with the verb ser, then you are going to write or type ser with a comma in between. And if you think that your letter B is estar, then you're going to write estar after the comma. Okay? No spaces in between. Just ser, comma, estar. If you think that origin means that you should use the verb estar, then all you're going to do is do the opposite. You're going to write estar first, comma, and then ser, if you think that B would be ser. Okay? If you have any questions about this, please email me and I will clarify. You will have 2 attempts on this quiz, so make sure that we're paying attention. So you're going to do the same steps for the next few. So for number 5, would you use ser or estar? A, position, standing, sitting, etc. B, description. So your 2 options that you're going to write is ser or estar, and the only difference in your answers would be that you put ser first, comma, estar, or estar first, comma, ser, depending if you want A or B to match. All right, number 6. Again, ser or estar. Would you use ser or estar if you're talking about occupation? Which one would you use, ser or estar, if you're talking about emotion? Okay, remember, your answer should be separated by a comma and that's it. No space. Don't type any spaces. All right. Number 7. Número 7. Same thing. Ser or estar. Would you use ser or estar for relation of one person to another? Would you use ser or estar when you talk about time? Answer, comma, answer. Número 8, number 8. Would you use ser or estar if you're talking about permanent characteristics? Would you use ser or estar if you're talking about states and conditions? Answer, comma, answer. Okay. Número 9, number 9. Would you use ser or estar for action, present progressive, Present progressive means that in English, it's a verb that would end in ing, like running or climbing, studying. Present progressive, something that is happening at the moment. Okay. Would you use ser or estar when you're talking about where an event is taking place? Answer, comma, answer. No space in between the answers, just a comma. Okay. Número 10. Would you use ser or estar? I'm sorry. Nope. Número 10. Which subject forms of estar get accent marks? So what you're going to type is all but blank and blank. So I'm telling you that estar uses an accent mark in all but 2 subject pronouns. Which ones are they? Your answer should be separated by a comma. So here's what your answer box is going to look like. Answer, comma, answer. And those are going to be both of your subject pronouns that you think that do not have an accent mark for estar. No space in between those answers. Okay, 11. Which subject forms of ser get accents? You are either going to type all or none. Those are your 2 options for your answer box. All or none. Okay. Now we are going to just focus on writing the correct form of ser or estar verb, and you need to make sure that you are conjugating according to the subject. So, for number 12, you're going to fill in the blank. Ustedes blank bonitas. You need to first figure out if you're going to use ser or estar, and then you need to type the conjugated form of the verb that you chose. And remember that your verb should match the subject pronoun or the subject of the sentence. Ustedes blank bonitas. Okay. Número 13. Yo, there's your answer, blank. Triste hoy. Triste. Triste. Okay. 14. Blank. Somos de Colombia. Somos de Colombia. What's missing in this sentence? Remember, always assume that the subject pronoun is masculine unless I state otherwise. Okay? Quince. 15. Pablo blank en la iglesia. If you don't know what iglesia means, look at the drawing. Iglesia. Pablo blank en la iglesia. Okay. 16. Miguel y Ana blank en la biblioteca. Miguel y Ana blank en la biblioteca. Tell me the conjugated verb that goes there. Seventeen. Yo blank rubia. Yo blank rubia. Tell me the verb conjugated to match the subject. Don't forget accent marks if it needs it. Okay? 18. Tu blank enfermo. Tu blank enfermo. Tell me the conjugated verb to match the subject. Perfect. Let's move on. 19. Tu blank vieja. Tu blank vieja. Veinte. 20. La fiesta blank en mi casa. La fiesta blank en mi casa. Veintiuno. Blank estoy en el cine. What's missing in this sentence? We already have the verb, so we need the subject pronoun. Choose the correct subject pronoun. Blank estoy en el cine. Okay, 22. Tu blank muy cerca. Tu blank muy cerca. Cerca means near. Near, to be near. Okay? 23. Yo blank médico. Yo blank médico. Remember, for these, you're choosing whether it's ser or estar, and what you're typing in your box is the conjugated form of the verb that you chose. Okay? 24. Mario y Juan blank argentinos. Mario y Juan blank argentinos. Okay, moving on. 25. Elena blank, la hermana de Leo. Elena blank, la hermana de Leo. You should all know what the word hermana means. Twenty-six. El blank orgulloso hoy. Orgulloso, proud. Hoy, today. Okay? 27. Blank, las 10. Blank, las 10. Look at the image at the bottom. Okay? 28. Nosotros, blank, de pie. Nosotros, blank, de pie. Pie means foot. This one's a little bit confusing, so I just want to explain it a little bit. If the word pie means foot, and the word de means of, that can look weird in English if you translate it literally. I want you to look at the image of these two people. Are they both sitting? No, they're not. What are they doing? What's the opposite of sitting? That's what de pie means, the opposite of sitting. Okay. 29. Usted blank bailando. We should all know what the word bailando comes from. What AR verb does it remind you of? Bailando. Okay. 30. El museo blank interesante. El museo blank interesante. Museo looks a lot like the word in English. The word interesante also looks a lot like the word in English. Okay, 31. So for the next couple, or actually few, you are going to write the letter A, B, or C. No periods, no spaces. You're going to write the letter of the correct answer that you choose. So, for number 31, choose the correct translation. You are my friend. A, tú estás mi amigo. B, tú eres mi amigo. C, tú es mi amigo. You're going to type A, B, or C. Okay, 32. Choose the correct translation. Paco is happy. A, Paco está feliz. B, Paco, ¿estás feliz? C, Paco está feliz. A, B, or C. Okay. 33. Choose the correct translation. We are from Lima. A, nosotros estamos de Lima. B, nosotros somos de Lima. C, nosotros somos de Lima. Make sure that we're reading and looking for mistakes. Some of these are a little hidden. Okay? 34. Choose the correct translation. They are tired. A, nosotros estás cansados. B, ellos están cansados. C, ellos están cansados. Type A, B, or C. Okay? 35. The house is green. A, la casa se verde. B, la casa está verde. C, la casa es verde. Okay? 36. She is at the bank. A, ella está en el banco. B, ella está en el banco. C, ella es en el banco. Okay. So for this next few, what you're going to do is you're going to rewrite the sentence correctly. Each sentence has one mistake. So on your Schoology box, for the next few, you're going to type the full sentence. So this means that punctuation counts. If you don't type the period at the end, it's going to mark it incorrect. So when you are finished with the sentence, you need to make sure that you put the period at the end. So the next few are going to be complete sentences. The first sentence that you have to correct and type correctly is the following. So number 37, 37. María se ordenada. María se ordenada. You need to find the mistake and retype the sentence, fixing the mistake. Remember, if a name has an accent mark, make sure that when you type the name, you type it with the accent mark. Okay, 38, 38. Tú estás nervioso. Tú estás nervioso. Find the mistake and then type the correct sentence. Don't forget your period at the end. Okay, 39, 39. Ella está de Ecuador. Ella está de Ecuador. Okay, 40, 40. Nosotros estamos enojados. Nosotros estamos enojados. Every single one of these has a mistake. So none of these are completely correct. There is something that you have to change. Okay, 41, 41. Las chicas sois morenas. Las chicas sois morenas. Okay, 42, 42. Yo esto en el correo. Yo esto en el correo. Okay, moving on. All right. Oh. All right, so we're almost done. 43. This is an example of something that a lot of you said on your videos, and you chose the incorrect verb to use. So here's your time to redeem yourself. Yo blank en el 10º grado. 10th grado, grade. Yo blank en el 10º grado. I want you to tell me the conjugated form of the verb. Choose a verb and conjugate it to match the subject. Like I said, this is one of the phrases from your videos that a lot of you got incorrect. So this is a time to redeem yourself. Okay, number 44, 44. You are going to write the letter T or the letter F T for true, F for false. So, is this sentence written correctly, true or false? Again, this is also another one that came up in your video that I noticed many of you got incorrect or said it incorrectly. The verb was used incorrectly. So, is this true or is this false? Yo soy 17 años. Yo soy 17 años. Is this how you write it? True. If it's not, false. Write a T or an F. Okay. Here we have number 45, 45. True or false? Write T for true, F for false. Is this sentence written correctly? Yo tengo 17 años. Yo tengo 17 años. And I just want to emphasize años because many of you are still saying años and you are not pronouncing the tilde above the N. This is an ñ. This is a letter that you don't have in your alphabet, but it is in the Spanish alphabet. It is not pronounced like an N. It is pronounced like a ñ. Ñ. Años. Because años means something entirely different. Okay. 46. So, for 46, you're going to tell me the acronym that you know to remember when to use ser. What's the acronym? It should be one word, no punctuation. And then for 47, tell me the acronym that you use for estar. There are actually two. One, which you have in your notes that you took in my class, and the other one is from the video that you watched earlier today. The one from the video I did go over briefly a few weeks ago in class when we first introduced the verb estar. So it doesn't matter which one you type, you're going to get it correct. There are two that you can choose from. So just give me the word, no punctuation. All right, we're almost done. Ser or estar. For your number 48, 48, you're going to give me either ser or estar. That is the words that you're going to type, ser or estar. What goes with the following words? How you feel and where you are, or when doing things near or far. That is how you use blank. What's blank? So your answer is going to be what goes here. Okay? All right. For the following, you're going to type sí or no. Notice how sí has an accent mark. Sí has an accent mark. So, sí or no. You're going to say sí or no. 49, 49. Do you understand this concept better? Sí or no. And 50, sí or no. Do you want to make a video of you singing the ser song? Sí or no. You can't get this wrong, guys. So give me your actual opinion. You cannot get these two wrong. Whether you say yes, you understand the concept better, or no, you don't understand it, you will not get this incorrect. They're two freebies. Okay, guys, that's it. So, again, you have 2 times to do this quiz. So, make sure that you paid attention to how you should type the items that I was very specific about. If you still have questions, please email me, and I will be happy to help you. Adios.